Hello, hello, Symmetry Nation. Welcome to the Monday morning sales training. My name is Devin Johnson, and I'm an agency owner here with Symmetry Financial Group, and very, very honored, very, very grateful to be so. And super excited about getting to speak to the company that I love so much this Monday morning. I'm direct to Brian Delaney here at Symmetry Financial Group, and I always want to show respect and pay respect where it's due, because I'm so honored and grateful to be in his hierarchy and get to learn from him. And always, anytime that I get a chance to speak in front of this company, I always show honor to the founders. Thank you so much, Brandon, Casey, and Brian, for the amazing company that you have built for us to thrive in. So once again, we'll go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling this Monday morning. Again, my name is Devin Johnson for those that are just now logging in, and I have two of my number one business partners, my two favorite guys in the world that I get to share business and I get to share life with. Key leader, Luke Jackson, Luke Jackson, and he's been in a push over the past couple of months, and we may see later this week that title gets to change a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. But I've got him on the call, and I've got also team leader Asbury Fields. So two guys that have so much value to give to this company, and I really want you all to get to hear from them. Okay, so all right, if any of you saw the title of our call today, you might have saw like what does that even mean? The ceiling is the roof. Some of you may have saw that title and know exactly where that comes from. So I'm down here in kind of central southeastern North Carolina, and we're big Tar Heels fans out here. Okay. And that saying actually came from the biggest name to ever be a Tar Heel, and that's Michael Jordan. So for those of you that need a little back history, a little background on that, the ceiling is the roof was actually a phrase that Michael Jordan said at a Tar Heel basketball game. And for all of you that may not like, I don't understand what that means. I don't get it. Neither do any of us. No one in the country, understood what that meant. All right. A lot of people speculate that it was maybe a mistake. I don't think Jordan's ever come out and said exactly what it means, but I've always loved it because it's just our thing. And it's all over t-shirts here in North Carolina. And, especially JR on the call, a big Tar Heel fan. And I wanted to use that title and this concept because I've actually spent a lot of time thinking about that. Like, what does that even mean? And I was like, how could I relate that to my business? And I want to explain to all of you here what I personally believe that means, and we'll kind of go from there, okay? And anything that we talk about, especially myself, it's not always me. I'm a great believer that you don't have to be the best. You just learn from the best, and you can be really good here learning from great people. And that's all I'm going to be doing is kind of teaching you things that I've learned along the way. So to get into this concept, the ceiling is the roof. What I kind of perceived and what I kind of thought about when I went through this process was this, okay? There's a ceiling and there's a roof. Those are two different objects, all right? And the ceiling, how many of us in our businesses, in our lives, anything, we've heard about like, oh, I've hit a ceiling. Or I've hit the ceiling, or I'm at a ceiling in my life. Like I'm pretty sure all of us being in business, being in sales, we've either used that type of language or we've heard others use it. And about hitting that ceiling. And I think that's a real thing. It's like hitting the lid, hitting those ceilings. And what I want to do is I want to bring light to that on about how do you get to that point and how do you break through that ceiling, okay? Now, there are two different kind of concepts I want to talk about because I really want to explain this concept because I think it's so powerful. What I believe is that the ceiling is the thing that is holding us back, correct? It's the thing directly above our heads that separates the inside and it separates the outside of any home. I'm talking about, homes or buildings. It separates the inside and out. That's the ceiling that's directly above our head. But there is no ceiling if there is no roof. That's what we have to understand, that because of the roof, we have a ceiling. So if we translate that into our business, okay, I've hit this ceiling that's in my business, it's imaginary, it's not real, but we have to believe that there's a roof as well. And it's the roof that we built that created our ceiling. Okay. And just like in anything in life, my upline, Jordan Hunt, he's hardcore in the gym. And that's his life is working out and growing stronger. And he'll tell you that when someone gains a bunch of weight, it's never about one action, one meal that took them to that place, right? It's about an accumulation of small decisions that get you to that place in your life where you may not be happy with yourself and you may be overweight. But also when it comes to working out, it's not going to be one workout or one meal that gets you back fit. It's an accumulation of small decisions. So we take that concept into this ceiling is the roof. And so our roof is built by an accumulation of decisions, either good or bad, but most of the time bad, that create this ceiling in our lives. Okay. So hopefully everyone understands that, because these are the thoughts that have been going through my head and saying like, man, like I really think I can teach people about this concept, the ceiling is the roof. So I'm not going to teach you a specific sales training today on critical period or the 4-step close or none of that, but I am going to teach you on how your perspectives and your perspectives can change and your life can grow to the next level. So with that being said, I do want to tell you about this, that you will keep being stopped by the same ceiling over and over again, because you will keep making the same choices over and over again, because you will keep being the same person over and over again. So what that means is we got to get down to the core and change the person. All right. And I've thought about this, JR, that the people that struggle here are always the people that believe they're right. All right. Winners listen to the right people. And if you're here on this call like, whoa, this talk isn't for me, you might really need to listen. Okay. You might need to be the one listening. Okay. But wise people are really aware of when they are wrong. Okay. So wise people listen and they're aware of when they're really wrong, when they are really wrong. Okay. And I think this should be incredibly hopeful for a lot of you on this call. Okay. Because we're talking about a simple task of listening, because sometimes it feels that we do not have, that we need a talent that we don't possess. Okay. Sometimes it feels like, that we need a level of intelligence that we've never gained, or training that we don't have available. But all you need to do is listen. That's the first step to that's the first step of breaking the ceiling in your life. Okay. So, and as I'm talking here to the coaches and the mentors that are on this call, I want to share this one little nugget with you. We always want to speak and counsel into someone's life that we haven't earned the right to do so. And that's specifically for the mentors and on this call, because if you hear that I'm talking about listening and your people listening, you've got to earn the right to speak and counsel into their life. Okay. So, and the last point that I want to make to that, is the first step being listening, is I listened to my upline. Jordan Hunt told me that you don't need to be the guy here. You don't need to be the guy. You just need to be the guy that found the guys. And that's exactly what I did. So without further ado, I want to bring up the first gentleman to share a little piece here. This is a guy that's been with me coming on 2 years. I think it is about 2 years now. Going to do over $200,000 in premium this year. Spent over 27 years in the insurance business, in the final expense space, and had a lot of value to give, but definitely struggled when he started. And so without further ado, I want to bring you up, JR Fields, and give you an opportunity to talk about the ceilings that were in your business and how you were able to break them.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Devin. Man, thanks. I want to shout out to you, first of all, for finding me 2 years ago. Certainly grateful for that. Want to shout out to Jordan Hunt for his leadership, Brian Delaney for his leadership, and for the founders, Casey, Brandon, and Brian, man, and just for the vision that they had, I guess, 12 years ago, just the vision that they had. And if it wasn't for their vision and them removing limitations from their life, we wouldn't all be on this call today. We wouldn't be here. This company wouldn't be here. So I'm truly, truly honored and appreciative, to have the opportunity to be on this call with you guys and with everybody in Symmetry Nation, which is my new family, found family for sure. But yeah, I spent 25 years in the final expense business, and in talking about the ceiling, I mean, I knew after many years, and I stayed for 25, that the ceiling was always there. That's as high as I was ever going to go with that company. And I'm certainly grateful for the experience that I had with the company and them giving me the chance. But that is just where I knew that I was not going to go anywhere else. And then when we found each other, I think the stars were aligned. It was meant to be. And but talking about limitations are really just restrictions. They're restrictions that we put on ourselves. And it's because we're afraid to get out of our comfort zone. And very well, early on, I was afraid to get out of my comfort zone. I was a pen and paper guy, final expense, door knocking. I had 25 years of experience in the insurance business, but I thought I was just going to come here and crush it. About 2 months in, maybe Devin, 2 months, 3 months in, I almost quit. I had a call with Devin and said, I can't do this. And Devin really had a heart-to-heart talk with me, and he's talking about listening. So what I did to remove those limitations and restrictions is I started listening to Devin, and that's what you were talking about a little while ago. Started listening. I had to remove, swallow my pride and remove those restrictions and limitations, and by that I started becoming coachable by a young man, Devin Johnson, and a young leader, tremendous leader, that's the same age as my son. But I swallowed my pride and I became coachable, and it turned my business around. What did I do? I quit putting those limitations on myself. I started making more dials. I started booking more appointments, running more appointments. I started getting on more calls and webinars, because you can just get so much value. Hopefully somebody out here will get something out of this that could take their business to the next level. I just stopped putting limitations on myself. It's funny, in Memphis, we were sitting in a group with Jordan Hunt, and one of the sessions, and Jordan said, I want everybody to, sitting in your chair, just reach as high as you can. And we all reached. He said, now reach a little more. Reach a little more. You see, we put a limit, but when you want to, if you reach just a little more, man. So yeah, that was really good. The ceiling, if there wasn't a ceiling and there wasn't a roof, you had the sky, right? So if we all walk outside now, we have the sky. The sky is the limit. We've all heard that, right? The sky is the limit. If you remember Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear said, to infinity and beyond. Everybody remembers that. Infinity means endless. That's what infinity means. And it cannot be reached. It simply means limitless possibilities. And man, that was so good. But yeah, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself in this business. Don't be afraid. It's okay to be afraid to start with, but reach up to your upline, your sideline. Don't limit yourself, because when you don't limit yourself, you're going to experience something truly amazing, and that's your hidden potential. And so I didn't realize I had this potential because I was limiting myself. So five things about that I just want to say about putting limits. Become aware of limiting thoughts. What if the founders had limited their thoughts, right? They begin to think big and see big possibilities. So begin to think big and see big possibilities. Take action toward the big dreams that confront the limiting benefits. Surround yourself with other big dreamers. there's a whole bunch of people on this call that are dreaming big, right? And continue to grow, continue to grow yourself. That's kind of what I have. I'm going to close with this though, because I don't want to take a whole lot of time. I'm really excited to hear from Luke. But this came from Michael Jordan. He said, I've missed more than 900 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. That's hard to believe. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. That's why I succeed. So embrace the failure, erase the limitations. The sky's the limit. And to quote the late Jimmy V, don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's what I got for you.
Thank you, JR. Thank you, JR. And here's what I love. Symmetry Nation, you may hear that and think like, man, that was so simple. But JR is a simple guy. And through simplicity, he gets big results. And he was able to be coachable and listen. Simple things. I never taught JR how to be the sales guy that he is. I didn't have to do that. He already had it in him. I just had to teach him how to break through that ceiling. And once he did, he was able to start achieving these things. It's so simple, everybody. It is so simple. And I want every one of you breaking to that next level as JR did. So I just want to transition this over to another guy, a dude that is my running buddy, is one of my best friends, one of the first guys that ever fully trusted in me and my leadership. Has been able to do great things. He's gonna have his first $500,000 year this year, and just super excited for the things that's going on in his life. So Luke, I know that you came here not as the best sales guy at all. You were probably, if I'm being quite honest here, one of the worst. And we joke about it all the time because that's what makes your story so great, is the things that you've overcome. So I want you to talk to some of the people here. How you had this, ridiculously long resume of sales jobs. It's very sarcastic if anybody doesn't know, but how you were able to overcome and break through ceiling after ceiling after ceiling to get to where you are now and where you're headed in the future.
Appreciate that. Dev, I am Luke Jackson, direct to Devin Johnson, the Devin Johnson. So grateful to be so part of the Jordan Hunt, Brian Delaney, Edward Pritchett hierarchy. Thank them, for not giving up when it was tough, so that I could have this opportunity. And Brian, Brandon, and Casey, my gratitude just goes without saying. I mean, you guys are just spectacular, and this company continues to amaze me each and every day. But what have I overcame? What kind of ceilings, what kind of roofs? Dev, I feel like you're in my room right now because I had to sleep on your couch for the first year in business, right? I was a former college baseball player before I got here, played 4 years at the gigantic University of North Carolina at Pembroke. I'm just kidding. It's a tiny D2 school, not great at a whole lot of things, but that's where I found my start, and so grateful for that. And I came into Symmetry for one sole reason, Devin, that was to make enough money to pay off my school loan so I could go chase my dream of playing ball. And that didn't happen. I came here, and if you watch the overview, it looks like you can make a lot of money really fast, and you can, right? You really can. And I didn't, right? Because I was not only I said I was full time, but I wasn't even partially committed. Like, I was absolute trash, and I was trash first. I didn't have any sales ability. I didn't have any sales skill. I didn't have, I could hit a ball a long ways, but that's about it, right? I had a pretty good work ethic in college, and that's really what brought me and kept me here. But what we're talking about today is the ceiling. I believe the ceiling, Dev, is the internal beliefs that we have of our lives. See, in other industries, so many people say, I walked through the door and I knew that I saw the ceiling, right? Just how JR was. JR had that ceiling above him, and he was like, man, I'm capable of more. I'm capable of more. I'm capable of more. And then he found Symmetry, and Symmetry doesn't put any ceilings over us. Doesn't put any roofs over us. It is opportunity. It's, as Chase Long says, it's ain't nothing but air and opportunity out here, right? And that's what it's all about. But the thing is we have our own ceilings in our mind, right? I believe if you think about your life as a house, right, or as a home, what dictates how big how tall that house is, Dev? It's all dictated by, man, I really want some 15-foot ceilings, right? Do we want 8-foot ceilings or 12-foot ceilings or 20-foot ceilings? I don't know. I ain't come from money. But that's how our lives are. You know, if our lives are that house, the size and the magnitude of our home and our life is going to be dictated by the beliefs that we have about ourselves. And I just wasn't a person with a lot of self-belief. I didn't even have that in baseball, which is really why I didn't make it. And thank God I didn't. And I learned this stuff, you know, now, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's okay, right? It's all right to not know what you don't know, but once you know better, you got to do better. Right. And I think once we, you know, in order to figure out like, yeah, but Luke, how do I know? You know, it's like, how do I know I have self-limiting beliefs? Well, this is a self-development company, Dev. It's a self-realization company. It's a leadership development factory. And, you know, whenever somebody tells you to read a book, I don't know, maybe read it. Right. Like, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. Like, I'm going to shoot you straight, because the late, great Jimmy Spildiner always did the same thing. Right. Love that man, to just love him, like just love him, and would not be here if it wasn't for him. Right. And I just want to give a shout out to the Spildiner organization. Love you guys. My heart and soul is with you. Because he impacted a lot of folks, and he did that by getting out of his own way. And that's something that I've had to do, Dev. It's like, because whenever we break through the ceiling, and all of a sudden, I talked to Brian about this a lot, Brian Delaney, and we break through that internal ceiling that we have, and then we don't act on it. See, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge with intentional action is power, right? If we don't put the action down towards those things, then we're just going to stay, you know, we're just going to stay in the attic. And in my opinion, the attic is hell. You know, Tim Grover says that in the book, Winning. He's like, winning will take you through hell, and if you quit, that's where you'll stay. Right. And and the thing is, though, is like, there's so many people there. So many people in the attic where they just don't want to put the action for it. They have all these conditions. And I'm talking to myself again. I don't want to, you know, point fingers or anything like that. If you feel like this is attacking you by any stretch, I don't know your story. If the shoe fits, wear it. That's what Ed Milet says. Right. But we get stuck in that attic where it's like, man, I know I'm a winner. You know, I know I'm a winner. Like, Dev, you told one of my guys, and I live by this, having on my wall at home. It's like, you know, hey, Luke, you're a winner. So when are you going to win? Right? Like, let's put some action down. You know, I'm not going to sit here and teach you equity protection. There's so many other better people at that. Right? That's what I believe, Dev. You know, it's figuring out what you want and then working like hell to get it. Right? If you want to get it, then you got to get it first in here. Believe you're the type of person, you know, if you got to do the I am statements, I got them all over the place, and it's changed my life. Right? I am powerful beyond measure. Shout out to Tori. Right? I am powerful beyond measure. And that's one thing there. I've got notes. I'm scatterbrained. I'm excited. I'm fired up. But here's what I know, and I want to touch on this because, JR, this is so good. And we were kind of, you know, going back and forth yesterday, right? Where we have that breakthrough, and then we're in the attic, and then all of a sudden we start becoming, and we start being on the outside who we know we're ourselves to be on the inside, right? Like, I am, like, Brian Delaney called me before my last vacation, which he made me take because I was crowded up here, had to write down all of my negative thoughts, all of the bad things, all the crowded vision. See, I had reached a new place in life, and I didn't have a new destination. See, whenever we break through and we're in the attic, and all of a sudden we break through that roof, and then just like JR said, then there's just clear blue open skies, nothing but air and opportunity. We got to have a new, we got to have a new vision. We got to have a new purpose, a new place to strive for. See, movement is great, but without direction, speed is irrelevant, right? We've got to know where we're going. We've got to. And I'm just going to let everybody know here, there's not just one breakthrough. Your next breakthrough is going to be the thing that gives you the next ceiling and the next roof in your life. And that is a good thing. You know, like, if you're tired of the same, if you are out there in Symmetry land and you're tired of the same problems that you've always dealt with, maybe you just, maybe it's time to like just step outside of that and see, okay, am I self-deprecating myself, right? Like, am I being who I am? Because if dial team starts at 4 and I don't dial to a 4:15, I'm not being who I am. See, I believe it takes more energy to procrastinate than it does to show up on time. We know what we got to do. And I'm just stealing stuff from Brian Delaney at this point. I feel like I'm just like reading my notes that I remember from this workshop that we last had. And I don't want to draw this out, but I talked to my guys yesterday, a little bit, like, know where you're going to go and then just decide the price that you're willing to pay to get there. Like, just decide it up front and then pay it, or don't. But don't, like, let's not pitter patter around. Like, I want everybody out there to own their ceiling. I want them to own their roof, and you've got to own it first before you can beat it, right? Take the conditions off of your success. And Jimmy Spildiner explained to me what that meant. And that's why last month we had our biggest month ever, because of something that he explained, right? It's like, oh man, because in the attic, Dev, and in hell, there's all those people. I mean, yeah, I would be successful if these leads were better. I mean, if equity protection wasn't so confusing, it's like, no, like, own your success, own it. Dev, I can tell you this. One of the best things you ever did for me. All right. And I promise you, I'm going to shut up eventually. I get so fired up about this stuff. But one of the things that you told me right before the last leadership conference that you went to at Brian's office was in November 2 years ago. And I was still, I'd had a 10K month, but it should have been my 4th month in the business at that point, I believe. And I said, man, I can sell that term stuff, man. I can sell it like the back of my hand. Like, I could sell that to like water in the desert, right? But that critical period, that equity protect, I don't get it, man. I can't do it. Like, I'm struggling there. And you said, man, so what are you gonna do about it? Nowhere in there did he explain what it is, what it does, how it works, how to pull out the why, nothing. He said, no, what he invited me to do was own my success. Right. He didn't want to get to the top of this company and me follow him up there and him have that on his shoulders of like, I personally, I want to own my success, Dev. Like, I want to own my journey. I don't want that to be dictated by somebody else's beliefs in me. I don't want it to be dictated by my past. Right. Like, and I'll go ahead and tell everybody out there that's been through something, it was for you, not to you. Right. Like, I had the yips in college. I couldn't throw a baseball from the length of the car. I couldn't throw a baseball that far in the air for 8 years of my life. Right. But what I can tell you is I could throw one from here to Devon in Lumberton and hit him in the side of the head with it. I could, but you've got to, I lost my train of thought there, but you've got to go there in your mind first. You just got to, Dev. You just got to. So I'll let you close this down, but I want to say thank you for inviting me up here. And just go out there and just be who you are. Just be who you know you are inside and own your success, because it's not anybody else's responsibility to take you to the top. It's yours.
Wow. Thank you, Luke. What fire you just brought. Awesome, man. Awesome. Like I told you, everybody, I never wanted to be the guy here. I just wanted to find the guys, and I'm so grateful that I did, and I get to partner with people like this that believe in the things that I believe in. And I'll leave everybody with this, because we want to wrap this call up. Hopefully, this has been in some form or fashion, transformative for you, or changing your perspectives, or understanding that these are the things that truly matter. I promise you. And I never wanted to be the guy that stands in front of the room and says, these guys won because of me. Never, because that I can't stand on that pedestal. I can't. And I'm not worthy of it either. But I'll be straight up with each and every one of you on this call. Okay. I'm trying to do something great with my life. I'm not trying to get something great in my life. I'm trying to do something great with my life. I'll be honest with you. I am. Okay. And I only have time for people who are determined to be the best of who they are, determined to be the best of who they already are. Okay. And I don't care what part of the process you're in. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm just looking for people that don't complain about the ceiling, they work to break it. That's the people I work with, and that's the people I spend my time with in my business and in my life, okay? And no one's going to move that ceiling for you. No one. You created it, and you're going to have to be the one that moves it. Okay, I can't do it for you. When Luke could not break the ceiling of equity protection, I, like so many mentors and so many coaches, try to break that ceiling for him and say exactly what I say, and I promise you'll write it. No, you've got to break that ceiling and unlock that next level yourself. So what are you going to do about it? You know, and the only one, like I said, the only one that's going to be able to do it is you. But the only way you will break the ceiling is to make sure you don't break. You got to make sure you don't break so you can break the ceiling. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with this, y'all. That if your life, I thought about this week, Luke, that if your life is a house, it's a house you cannot build by yourself. It's going to take other people to build the life that is you. You cannot do this alone. It will take other people to build the life that is you. And when you build your house with knowledge, you break the ceiling. And once again, the ceiling is the roof. Thank you so much, Symmetry Nation. Have a great Monday. Let's go out and kill it.